Blackmagic 6K full frame, Carl Zeiss Jena 20mm, and a tripod, and car lights. That's just about how I shot this music video. This was for a music video that actually does not, for some odd reason, somehow, some way, pass YouTube guidelines. Yeah, this was for a music video. We only shot the first half of the music video for timing reasons and just unfortunate circumstances. So technically, we released it as like a demo to like the full song, but the video still came out great and I want to talk about it. Also, I want to talk about it really because I use one of these lenses. A Carl Zeiss Jena lens. These get talked about a little bit. There's like niche communities that only use these lenses, but I have a lot of good things to say, and I had a lot of fun shooting this. To start off with the lens, I bought this Blackmagic on sale. There was an incredible sale on these cameras over the summertime. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. And I needed a lens to use this camera with. Now, knowing this camera does not have autofocus, I thought it to be pointless to get an autofocus lens with an L mount for this camera. And after a few weeks of research, I realized there's some lower level cine lenses that you can get, but there's also different older lenses that can be converted to cine lenses. And then that's how I found out about the Carl Zeiss Jena lenses. And then I decided to go with the 20mm because I felt like that lens had the most character, and it was an experimental enough lens for me to get to start off to see if I even liked the camera. So obviously, like every other music video, a treatment was made, and it kind of sort of was followed, kind of sort of wasn't followed. So I'm actually going to go through certain parts of the treatment right now and talk about it. Yeah, so the first part of the music video was really meant for us to like make visuals that were very vulnerable, and it was supposed to be in multiple different spots throughout the area we were shooting in. And there was a bunch of different ideas I had here. Long story short, this really don't even matter no more, bro. We followed the treatment in terms of the emotional output we wanted the video to hold. You get what I'm saying? And the point we wanted to bring across to the viewer, but in terms of like the different location setups and the different little things we were going to do, we really didn't have the time. By the time I got there, it had rained a little bit before we started shooting, and they were also running a little late. He had put on body paint and stuff like that, which worked out very well for the video. So we started like an hour and a half later than we wanted to. So we had a lot less sunlight. I was kind of worried, but I was like, you know what? We could just shoot around your crib. Turns out, bro lives in a pretty nice area, so we shot this entire video literally right across the street from his crib. I say this a lot in photography, right? Times where, everything's kind of going wrong, things aren't really going as planned or as they're supposed to be scheduled, those usually make for the best shoots. Usually when chaos ensues, I just see it as a way of like, seeing how bad you really want it. And things usually end up falling into place as soon as you start shooting. It's very weird, but that's just how it is. Now for us actually shooting, bro, like it just worked out, man. Like I was just looking at his environment, and every single little spot I saw that looked good and I felt like matched the vibe of what we had going on, and the very small props we had, things just worked out. So there was this nice car that really matched his body paint, and I think we did 4 scenes in total by the car, and they were all very important. They all played a very big part for the video. And then we did a really well, all the shots were wide shots, of course, but I had the camera back a bit, and I did a really wide shot in front of him in between 2 houses, and there was like these bushes there, and it was just a really nice composition that I liked. When I set up the camera, this was actually the first shot we did as warm-up shots, and that played a really big part in the video as well. With the 20mm lens, I have the option of getting really close or going really far. So throughout the entire video, I was shooting at around f8 to like f5.6 when it started getting a little darker. Things still worked out. Like it was really easy to pull focus because, I wasn't shooting at like f2.8, and I think we got, I want to say like 7 to like 8 scenes done before it just got too dark. So I had no lighting sources at the time, because again, I'm just a photographer, so all I have is strobes. Well, at the time, I'm pretty much getting into cinematography now, but I had no strobes. So on some last minute thinking, bro, we parked both of our cars next to each other and just used the lights from both cars. I even at one point turned on my car and used the high beams. And then we shot how many more scenes? I believe we shot like 4 or 5 more scenes. There was 2 scenes where I shot a little bit wider, 2 or 3, I believe. And then there were some really intimate scenes. I feel like the lens carried this music video for sure. This small little wide 20mm lens that's really old, and it's cine modded. This for sure carried the show. In terms of the look of the lens, the look of this lens is insane. It's incredible. And just having this focal length for the area that I was in, if I had any other lens with me, I don't think it'd work. I think 20 was like the sweet spot. Oddly enough, in photography, this isn't too much of a big of a deal, but when it comes to cinematography, it's actually a really big deal that I'm learning now too. Like The focal length is very, very important. You want to get as close to perfect as possible. Pretty much it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Once we were done with that, the edit and the grade, the grading didn't take me too long. The grade was cool. There was a few things I could improve on it, but I still kind of liked the output because this was pretty early on in like my color grading career, even though it's still very early on in my color grading career in general. I just know I could do a way better job now with the knowledge I have. But for then, it wasn't too bad. The colors that output from this camera are incredible, and that was my first time really seeing that. Editing didn't take too long. I think the end of this year, I kind of realized the second half of the music video wasn't going to get shot, so it took me like a week to edit everything while working on a bunch of other things at the same time, because that's typically how my life goes. And everything worked out, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm gonna use this lens a lot more in the future. This lens was also used again. I'll be making another video about this. Yeah, bro. That's how I shot a music video with a vintage lens. Malo Bay served me very well. This lens has a ton of character. Pretty much made something out of nothing. Didn't follow the treatment at all, but followed it. And yeah, that's pretty much it, bro. Appreciate y'all for watching. If y'all have stuck around this long. And thank you. Yeah. And more videos on the way. Have a good one, bro. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thank you.